Hello and welcome to another episode of Webflow and Code, where I teach you the underlying code you're writing in Webflow. Today I took a look at a new tool called Pinegrow, which acts, behaves and does essentially the same thing as Webflow, but it's slightly more advanced, I would say. And I streamed it for the first time. I just took a look at my initial reactions and kind of compared its general feature set to that of Webflow. So I look forward to using this tool a little bit more in the future and understanding it a bit better. As you'll see, I just took a brief overlook of the tool and kind of just gave my initial reactions coming from a Webflow user. So if you're excited about that, then stick around, and you can see the stream, or you can watch me stream live at twitch.tv/fakesamgregory. Any more time, I thought I would do a stream, because recently I was recommended Pinegrow, which I had no idea existed, and obviously people know me being sort of a Webflow person, no code person. I am a developer. If you knew, I'm a developer, a web developer. I know how to write code. And I make videos on Webflow and various things like that, because I just think it's a powerful platform. But I think Webflow has its limitations for sure. So my friend came to me with saying he was interested in trying to get Pinegrow to work for him. And it seemed like a really interesting tool. I kind of did a little sort of brief look on the website, kind of looked at what it could do. And it seemed very, very simple to Webflow. Really similar to Webflow, actually. So I thought I might as well check it out, and I've got like an hour to sit down and just look at it. And I've opened it up. I've opened a project up, but I thought I'm going to stop, because I kind of want to go into it with fresh eyes as a sort of, semi-long-term Webflow user. Look at it with fresh eyes and just assess the interface, see what I can do, and also make comparisons on like what Webflow does versus what Pinegrow does, and sort of see if we can draw some comparisons. So I've just started like a free trial of it, and I'll click through to it here. And I guess here we're just greeted. I've been through this, but I'll try and recreate kind of what was going through my mind about 10 minutes ago. Greeted with a screen, kind of creating a new project. I don't really know what OpenURL does, but essentially I went straight through and created a new project. And what you can see here is we've got a bunch of CSS libraries right out the gate, right out of the box. We can start using sort of CSS libraries, and I thought that was quite cool. I'm not a massive CSS library person. Like I like writing CSS, but sometimes there are situations where you need to get a project up and running quickly. You're prototyping something. So this is where these CSS frameworks can actually become quite handy. So it's got Bootstrap, it's got Tailwind, Foundation, and I guess it's got these pre-configured projects where you can already start to build a website with these. I guess right now, again, what I'm not seeing is what Webflow has is like a template library, and loads of people can contribute to that. I don't know if this has that, but maybe it's got it somewhere. I'm not too sure, but I'd be interested to know as well. I'm seeing AngularJS. I'd be interested to know how that works, considering you've got things like state and various things like that. If you're a web developer, you know what that is. You know how that's something that can really only make sense in code, but I guess you can all start a plain HTML project, or one with a library sort of built in. So I'm just going to jump into a Bootstrap template. Actually, what did I do just a few minutes ago? I just went that and then index. But yeah, it looks like there's some pre-configured things. But I just jumped in and just to see what it's all about. So I guess in the middle here, this is where your page is, which is where your editor is. What I quite liked is that you can have your mobile and another view kind of side by side, which is quite cool. And then if you make live updates here, you can then see how it looks on mobile as well, and all the rest of it. So that was quite cool. And now I'm trying to look at it as like, how different is it from Webflow? So I can drag in a container here, and this is a native application, by the way. It's not online, so I was, fairly impressed with the speed of dragging things in. I want to add a container, I want to add a row, and then a column. And as you start to build these in, because of the pre-configured Bootstrap, these all start to take shape. I haven't tried that mobile view thing yet, but I'm guessing if I add some text here, you can see it kind of update there, which is quite nice. That was quite cool. But then I started to look at this and think, well, how can I sort of start to recreate Webflow's interface with what we have here? Because it looks like here, to me, this looks like Bootstrap sort of components that you have access to. It seems quite contextual. You can add then plain HTML then below there, which is quite cool. And again, it's just dragging those in. Seems pretty nifty. I guess just flick through here. What do we got here? Okay, so these are the sort of visual components that we can. Let's try and drag that in. Yeah, so these are the kind of visual components that you'd expect to find. I can't do it right now. Do I have the ability to share my screen? I have not. Let's have a look. If I can share. No, I can't. No, I can't. I would like to share my screen. I'd show you the Bootstrap kind of library, but this looks like the documentation for Bootstrap. So it looks like a much more visual way to start dragging things in and sort of playing with them, which is quite cool. Looking over here. Blocks. I guess these are pre-configured components, things like that. I mean, right off the bat, it doesn't look as nice as Webflow. It doesn't look it looks a bit more clunky, a bit more boring, I guess. But I guess the other thing that's quite interesting is here we can start to add our own HTML or Pug. So if I have something, I actually know Pug, so I'm just going to write HTML. Oh, cool. So you can just edit those things. How I just that's quite cool. Yeah, so that's that for that side. Let's try and look at the CSS, because you can edit your own CSS in this as well, which is quite cool. But you normally kind of go to these editors because of the pre-config. Well, what you're seeing here is like changing text, changing colors, padding. This is kind of all like you'd expect to find in Webflow. Doesn't look as nice in my opinion. And what I did notice as well, you've got kind of flex stuff here. Oh, maybe it is contextual. I sort of found that I was seeing grid stuff as well as flex stuff as well. So it didn't seem contextual, but I'm not seeing that grid stuff anymore. But anyway, there we go. So if I select that, some spacing, I guess this is my. So okay, this is using probably Bootstrap classes. Yeah, see. You can add breakpoint things there as well. I don't know how to delete that. How do I delete that? Yeah, whatever. But this kind of, PT4. So that added PT4 at the top, which is a boot class. I wonder if I can add my own. I guess it encourages you to use Bootstrap, which is quite nice, because if you jump on a project that's using Bootstrap already, and then you start to add your own CSS, it can get a bit messy. It can get a bit messy when you've got like CSS floating around everywhere. I recently was on a project where we kind of had to do that, and I resented having to write my own CSS. So I guess it encourages you to do that. Can't seem to add my own CSS, but once again, text color, that's quite cool. Nothing else on there. This is where you add your own classes, I guess, which is cool. Popovers, there's another Bootstrap thing. Let's go on to the next one and see what's no class styles are defined. Okay, oh, this is Tailwind thing. Okay, so this is again similar to Webflow. We can add certain styles for different interactions. That's just where you add your class. Oh, you can add classes or IDs or okay, so that's all H1. So it's very similar to Webflow in that respect. Visual editor. Dimensions. Oh, so this is kind of broken. So there again, I wonder what the difference is between this and this. It looks to me like these are maybe bootstrap. Yeah, these look like bootstrap things that are kind of tied to the project, whereas this is a kind of do what you want, like a free for all. So, yeah, adding top. It's quite cool. I like how you've got this quick jump thing here. Cool. I did do a. How do I publish this to the browser? Maybe it's this. Let me try and get a window up so we can share my browser window. Safari blank template. So, okay, just a bit rough and ready here. Let's resize that real quick. Stretch the screen. Cool. I did have a look at the code, and it seemed pretty clean, pretty straightforward, which is what you'd want and expect from this kind of editor. So that was quite cool. Let's drop this behind there so you can see me. So that was quite cool. Another thing I noticed as well is that I've forgotten how I got it up, but you can edit the HTML or see the HTML somewhere. Maybe that. Yeah, so we can see the HTML that's been added, and then you can actually write HTML in line. If you just, if you're not finding your way with the editor somewhere, you can just quickly just jump in there, which is, again, which I thought quite cool. But I guess this would be this is a similar setup to Webflow. You've got your kind of HTML side on the left, you've got your style stuff on the right here, and your kind of content area in the middle there. Fonts, kind of basic stuff like that. I know there's a plugin for interactions, which is probably something I don't have on this trial. I don't think so anyway. Add play. Please save first. Let's just save. I'll do. Text editing mode is on. Closing a bunch of windows. When you save a file, Pinegrow's backup cockroach. Okay, fine. Can't seem to close that window now. Is that a bug? Can't even select. Can't even select the tab there. Let's close it and reopen it. I honestly cannot close that window, so that's a little bit annoying. There's another window somewhere. Here we go. Leave site. Cancel. Right. Interactions. So that was this. So let's activate interactions. Jesus. Add interactions. Hide at start. Show it. Oh, so some pre-configured things you can do. Smooth scroll. So let's just click on that. Right. Name interaction. What did I select? Selected. Did I select that? Okay. Move on. Scroll. Let's just try something there. Trigger. Oh, so I'm selected the H1. So when I click on that, so page window, mouse only, timer. Current element. I want to scroll behavior, but I don't. Page and window, maybe it's here. Scrolling the page. Smoothing, it's fine. Animation, parallax. Ooh, that's cool. I'm more of a person who likes to do stuff myself rather than click on pre-configured things. But custom animation, right? Here we go. So here, let's say copy, duplicate, play animation. Select the element to show interaction. So we've got it selected here. Oh, okay. So edit properties. So you select there. Position. Oh, that's the position. Okay. So transform X. And I want to say X 50 pixels, I guess. Do I need to say pixels? Here. 100 pixels. I have no idea. Delete. So is that gonna... Oh, I don't know. I'll have to probably run a little tutorial for that. But has interactions, which is quite cool. Click to select. Yeah, we'll disregard that for a minute, but it has it. H1. Interesting. Oh yeah, these are the values for the animation we just added. So if you want to remove that animation, you just do that. Quite cool. I'm wondering what this is versus... I guess we haven't... I think you can close or move... Yeah, so you can close or move stuff wherever you want. So if I want to just remove this thing, pop it out. See this, but it's just popped out into a new window. Just move the code one there. What's this one? Okay, so that's a tree. So I guess this would be something like you'd expect on Webflow to be over here. There. You can kind of move up and down, and I wonder if I can add... Yeah, so you can add things like that, or you can drag it onto the window as you probably would expect. Delete that now. Delete. It's cool. Plugins, I guess. Actions, master pages, no idea. Webflow. Activate WordPress. So that was the other thing I noticed about this as well, is that out of the box you can just have a WordPress project kind of pre-configured and all the relevant pages, I guess, and things like that, which is pretty cool, because you know it's just nice knowing that someone's taking care of making sure that you have all the files that you need, rather than relying on your ability to kind of go find all the files and all the different files you need for a WordPress website. So that's quite nice. I wonder if we can add more, like they have a Shopify thing. But it looks cool. I probably won't go much further than that, because I don't know what I'll do. I don't have a project or anything like that ready. But you know, with regards to the channel, I think I'm going to try and do a series on kind of making a website with Pinegrow, with obviously Webflow users in mind, and try and see if, you know, put it to the test and see if we can challenge some things. So all in all, I think it looks pretty cool. I think Webflow users will find this quite interesting. I think Webflow users who aren't quite getting enough out of Webflow will find this interesting. I think there's even back-end code support as well, I think my mate mentioned. So it would be interesting to see what the back-end can do. And yeah, I think I'll probably wrap it up there. So thanks for tuning in. I was probably sorry it's a bit boring. I literally just put this together like 5 minutes ago. I have no idea if this is even streaming properly or whatever. But I'll put this on YouTube and people can watch it at a later date. But Pinegrow looks pretty interesting.